Helping bring you this event, the Made Right Sandwich Shop, located on North Broadway in Greenville, by the Ansonia Lumber Company on Main Street in Ansonia, Gilbert Feller's Funeral Home located in Brookville, Greenville National Bank with several locations in Darke County, by Cox Insurance, located in Ansonia and Greenville, by Homestretch Sportswear, located in St. Henry and Wapakoneta, and by Bixler Video Productions. Helping bring you this event, by Oliver Floyd Funeral Home in Greenville, Montage Cafe on Broadway in Greenville, by McCain Painting Incorporated, located in Greenville, by Osgood State Bank, located in Osgood, Family Health Services in Greenville, Arcanum, Versailles, and New Madison, by State Farm Insurance, your agent Jim Gable, and by Bixler Video Productions. Back here at Russia, Mark Bixler along with Scott Ward. Let's run down the starting lineups. I'll take a look at the visitors from New Bremen. Number 12, Troy Lammers, a 6'2 junior. Scott Brackman is a 5'7 sophomore wearing 22. 24 is Scott Schmiesing, a 6'5 senior. 6'2 junior Jeff Toby is wearing 30, and Chris Schnelly, a 6'7 senior, is wearing number 42.
For Russia Raiders, they coming in 1-0 again. Jordan Grosjean, a 6-foot junior, wears number 10. Number 12 is Colin Foster. 24 is Lee Rosenbeck. Number 30 is Joel Putoff. And number 50 is Brad Plyman. Plyman, the 6'5 sophomore.
Well, it's Schnelly against Plyman. It's controlled by the Cardinals, as with it is Brackman. Out top, that's Schmiesing. Cannot get it to go. The rebound is to Joel Putoff. Just underway here in the opening quarter, this MAC versus the Shelby County Athletic League. The MAC versus the SCAL. Out top with it, that's Rosenbeck. Left side, now Foster. Putoff gives it up. That's Rosenbeck. Looks to drive in the lane, tripped up. He is going to be fouled. Well, as we said, this is night 2 of boys high school basketball. The season starting last night. Some interesting scores. We'll take a look at those a little later on tonight from throughout the area. Foster. As Grosjean looks to drive, cut off with it now is number 30. That's Putoff. Putoff drives down the lane. The left side gets it to drop.
A lot of motion offense from the Raiders. They like to spread it out, but they keep the ball moving.
Well, as you pointed out, New Bremen, a team with a lot of size this year, but a little short on varsity experience. Nice move inside. Chris Schnelly, the 6'7 senior, gets the basket, and we're knotted up at 2 apiece. We played just over a minute. We're at 6:40 and counting down here in this opening quarter of play. 2-2, Russia and New Bremen. And a 5-second count. Unable to find an open man is Joel Putoff, and the turnover gives it back to the Cardinals. Paul Brummagem, the coach, longtime coach of the Russia Raiders. Mike Ernst, the coach of the Cardinals. That inbounds pass is deflected, or was it? I thought, well, the way it came in, it looked like it was deflected. The one official could not tell. Neither official.
The way it's looking is they're all right. Sure, they're going to have to go with a jump ball. That's what they're going to do, is a jump ball.
And that's exactly.
Alternating possessions.
The New Bremen fans not real happy with that, and frankly, I would have to agree. It looked like that ball the trajectory changed, and it looked like it was kicked. But where the officials were, they couldn't really see it. Well, the third shot by Putoff is good. It's Joel Putoff 4, New Bremen 2. And double dribble.
Right off of his leg. That's Brackman's, and a little slow call there by the referee, but he eventually got it.
It's a 4-2 ball game as we are at the 6:15 mark here in the opening quarter of play. Mark Bixler and Scott Ward with you here from Russia. Putoff looks to drive.
It was cut off. Foster with it. They look to go in the middle, and over the back is going to be Scott Schmeezing, the other senior, 6'5" senior for the Cardinals.
On the last Russia possession, they had 2 offensive rebounds there underneath, which allowed them to get, in the second one, they were able to get the second points in to take the 4-2 lead.
At the second team foul against the Cardinals, it's deflected, saved back in. Nice play by the Cardinals. As finally coming away with that is Austin Minnick in the ballgame now for New Bremen. Minnick has it on the right side. Top it goes, Troy Lammers. Schnelly, and nice anticipation by Colin Foster. He's going to lay it in, and Russia leading this over New Bremen 6-2.
As you said, Foster made the anticipation, was able to step right in front of the pass and take it all the way down and put it in.
The Raiders fresh off a 59-44 SCAO win over the Botkins Trojans. Wing jumper, baseline jumper does not go as Plyman grabs the rebound for Russia. Goes low post, put off, has it blocked, deflected out, and it is going to be knocked out of bounds, and it's going to be New Bremen's basketball. Good hustle on that particular play all around.
We saw a lot of bodies on the floor, as you said, a good hustle, and for Bremen, it ended up getting the turnover for them and looking to cut into the four-point deficit.
Low post, could not get it to go. Schnelly, the rebound to Russia. We're under the 5-minute mark. We played 3 minutes, just over 3 minutes, and it's a 6-2 lead for the Raiders. And that's going to be over and back as the turnover gives it up to New Bremen.
Russia with 4 turnovers here in the early going with 4:43 left, but they're hitting the boards much better than Bremen. 3 defensive boards and 2 offensive boards for the Raiders, 5-0 in favor of the Raiders on the boards.
Well, we are under the 4:40 mark. Still that 4-point lead for Russia. The Raiders in a in-your-face man-to-man. Nice jumper by Jeff Tobey. And the lead is 2 at 6-4. Rosenbeck out top. It goes. The 3 does not go by Foster. The Raiders with another offensive rebound. At the 3rd offensive rebound of the night. 2 of them on 1 play. There's a steal. The lay-in is good by Jeff Tobey, and we're knotted up at 6 apiece.
The 5th turnover by the Raiders cuts the deficit to 2.
Well, I have it as 6-6.
Now they put it up, actually. Mark was correct for once.
Hey, I did pretty good this year in football on those close first down plays, whether it was a first down or not. Now the Raiders off to the races, but they'll pull it back out.
Jay Borcher's in for the Raiders.
Grogine from the right side can't get it. The rebound is to number 42, Luke Cordonier.
The 4th offensive board for the Raiders.
Put off for 3. Got it.
Downtown. Russia, that one came from. Left wide open.
Underneath, the lay-in is good. On the other end, as Kurt Eilerman gets the basket to make it a 1-point ball game. Quickly, Grogine. And we're going to have a jump ball as Grogine was tied up by Scott Brackman. And it will be New Bremen basketball. That's one thing that the Cardinals have the Raiders have struggled this year, especially in the first quarter, as the Raiders get the rebound off of the miss, is turning the ball over a lot in the first quarter.
7 turnovers here already.
And if I'm not mistaken, last night, didn't we read they had 6 or 8?
I think it was about 8, and there's another one.
9-8. We're under 2.5 minutes as that is a turnover by New Bremen.
Their third. Rushi's got 8 here in this first quarter.
You know, for a team, you'd like to see it, and I realize it's early on, but when you reach the end of the season, you'd like to see yourself only getting about 12, 13, or less turnovers a ball game. Another turnover by the Raiders. We are at the 2-minute mark, actually 2:05 and counting down, as with it is Troy Lammers. He's being guarded by Lee Rosenbeck. Eilerman dishes it down. The shot does not go as it was taken by Sean Imwally. As Mike Ernst, the coach of the Cardinals, searching for a combo that's going to work.
Rushi last night had 14 turnovers. Botkins had 19 in the game. Rushi already with 9 turnovers here just in the first quarter.
But wasn't there something in the article that said that they had so many in the first quarter?
Yeah, I think you're right. They did pull that article back out.
I may be incorrect about that. Is that a three-pointer too long? It's taken by Austin Minnick, and it's out of bounds. It's off of... It appears it's going to be off the Cardinals. So it will be Rushi basketball with 1:42 remaining. We're in the opening quarter of play. With it out top is Colin Foster. Foster looks to drive, cut off as Rosenbeck gets it, drives in the lane, and another turnover by the Raiders.
Number 10.
That's something that I'm sure Paul Brummagem is not very happy, is with it in the middle. Johnny on the spot. Sean Imwally gets the basket, and the Cardinals take their first lead of the night at 10-9. Mark Bixler with you, along with Scott Ward. Glad to be with you here on Adelphia Cable. In both Minster, in Coldwater, Minster, and Versailles. A 5-second count. As this is part of our schedule, 11 turnovers in the first quarter.
Last night they had 6 in the first quarter.
You play that out, 44 turnovers. I guarantee they're not going to have 44. Nice move inside. Sean Imwally with the basket. As he's going to try for the point and the basket and one. As he was fouled, it was against Joel Putoff. Free throws on the way, does not go, and the rebound is to Plyman. 12-9, 40 seconds remaining. Opening quarter of play. Foster dishes it off, as with it now is Jay Borchers. Borchers gives it off to Rosenbeck.
Rushi's going to play for the last shot with 20 seconds remaining.
Putoff has it.
They'll go to the typical 4 corners to get the last shot of the quarter.
10 seconds. Putoff all alone in the lane. Cannot get it to go, and the rebound is to New Bremen. Kurt Eilerman with it quickly down the other way. And with 0.3 seconds, New Bremen will have possession in the corner.
That rebound there, I think once it was by Schnelly or Eilerman. The first rebound by the Cardinals overall.
Schnelly back in the ballgame as they want his height. They're going to probably, my guess is, try to lob it in.
Well, all you can do with point three is tip. All you can do is tip.
They go for 3, but it's not going to even, he doesn't even get it off in time. We've completed 1 quarter of play here at Russia with New Bremen leading the Raiders 12-9.
Helping bring you this event, the Made Right Sandwich Shop, located on North Broadway in Greenville, by the Ansonia Lumber Company on Main Street in Ansonia, Gilbert Feller's Funeral Home located in Brookville, Greenville National Bank with several locations in Darke County, by Cox Insurance located in Ansonia and Greenville, by Homestretch Sportswear located in St. Henry and Wapakoneta, and by M. Bixler Video Productions. Helping bring you this event, by Oliver Floyd Funeral Home in Greenville, Montage Cafe on Broadway in Greenville, by McCain Painting Incorporated located in Greenville, by Osgood State Bank located in Osgood, Family Health Services in Greenville, Arcanum, Versailles, and New Madison, by State Farm Insurance, your agent Jim Gable, and by M. Bixler Video Productions.
Welcome back here to Russia as the Raiders trailing New Bremen 12-9. And now a discussion taking place out at midcourt with two of the officials here prior to the start of the game, the second quarter. And I have a feeling this may be stemming, or is it stemming from, well, the incident at the end of the incident at the end of the quarter.
Yeah, the incident at the end of the quarter, one of the players, and I'm not sure I think I know who, but I'm going to double check.
Well, we won't say, yeah. but an obscenity was said.
Right. And when that's said, normally it's
an automatic technical, exactly. And the officials are conferring now. And I would be willing to say that is probably going to be the case, as now the head official is talking to Mike Ernst and Paul Bremigen.
And my guess is nothing was really said until the crowd really jumped and some of the coaches started jumping it up. I would say the referees did not hear anything.
And a lot depends on, yes, it was loud enough that you heard it up here. I did not. But that doesn't mean the officials heard it.
Exactly. With the buzzer going off.
And the bottom line is the officials have to hear it.
Right. And I think he explains it to Mike Ernst. He tells Paul Brigham why, there might not be a technical if something was said, why he didn't hear it. So he explains it to them, explains it to both coaches and says, now let's just keep it under control and hopefully we won't have the problem the rest of the evening.
That's exactly what my guess is. They were explaining to Coach Bremigen as a foul is called on a reach-in and it'll be taken out underneath a common foul, as the foul was whistled against New Bremen. I thought he said 3-4.
He said, yeah, I thought he did too, but it must be 4-4. Marcus Overman.
As the inbounds pass is taken in, he explained to Coach Bremigen, look, we didn't hear it, so we're not going to call it. But he tells Mike Ernst, if he said it, keep him in check. That three-pointer does not go as Overman brings down the rebound, and was that Overman or
yes.
Imwale?
I'm pretty sure it was Overman.
One of the two, anyway, and I do think it was Overman. They grabbed the rebound. He was fouled by Putoff, and that's number 2.
Wyman will check back in for the Raiders. I think you and I always have something interesting go on at a football game.
Well, we had
a
basketball game. Last year we did the Russia-Houston game in which a player was injured.
Yep.
You said the game's here, but I say it was at Houston.
I think you're right. I hate to admit it. But the gyms are too much alike.
Except
besides the colors.
One's red and white,
yep,
the other's blue and gold.
Yep.
But other than that, they're on the visitor side, I think or the non-scorer team side, I think Houston's seats a little bit more. And that is out of bounds off of New Bremen, rather. It'll be Russia basketball. 6:59 remaining here. We played just over a minute. We're in the second quarter. It remains a 12-9 ball game.
Bremen already with 2 turnovers here in the second quarter. They've That's half of their turnovers from the first quarter, and they've doubled their rebounds of the first quarter.
Well, we're certainly glad to be with you here this opening night of boys high school basketball on Adelphia Cable in Coldwater, Minster, and Versailles. Those of you in Minster and Versailles, you've already watched a girls basketball game at the time you're watching this. Anna knocking off Houston. And we have plenty of action coming, both boys and girls this year. And that is a foul against New Bremen. It goes against Troy Lammers. His first. Team's fourth. I can also already tell you I'm one foul off each team.
Borchers misses that free throw. Once again, a third-year starter for the Raiders. Didn't start tonight.
Well, cannot get it to go. Either one. The other end, as with that basket, is Jeff Tobey. He now has 6.
Brackman found him wide open underneath and made a nice pass.
Well, that, I think, was, I don't know if it was a shot or a pass.
I think it was kind of a, I think he was going up for the shot and saw Plyman underneath and thought he could give him the pass.
But the end result is a foul. And it goes against Plyman.
And another turnover, the 12th of the game for the Raiders.
That shot does not go, and the rebound is to Jordan Grosjean. And the trip, as guilty of that, is Jeff Tobey, and that will, I have it as his first. We'll see if that's where my mistake. Nope, his first. Having done radio broadcasts and still doing them, I am spoiled, especially when teams get to the district and regional, because you have a computer right by you.
And sometimes bigger scoreboards where you can see how many fouls they have and points.
Each players and points, exactly.
That if you miss something, you know where to catch up at.
That's exactly right.
Some high schools are getting that now, but it's a slow process.
Driving the right side is Borchers. He gets the basket.
Borchers coming off the pick there off the right elbow and was able to come off the pick and get a nice jump shot off the right wing.
14-11 is Justin Brown, another one of those big players for New Bremen. A 6'6" junior couldn't get it to go. This is a team that could be, and the emphasis is on could right now, very competitive in the MAC. Well, two officials conferring again, and let's see. And now it's going to be Rushi basketball.
Make me pull my eraser out.
14-11, 5:24 remains. We're in the second quarter of play. New Bremen leading this by 3. The Raiders with the ball as Grosjean has it. Out top, it's deflected out of bounds off of Scott Brackman.
Brackman for a sophomore has been very impressive in my eyes for the Cardinals. He's been all over the court and in front of the ball. He's been guarding one of the better players in Foster and been right with him, not letting Foster really run the show for the Raiders.
Rosenbeck looks to drive, and he is hammered as Jeff Tobey. Well, is it going to be Tobey or in the ball game Austin Minnick?
I think who was ever underneath.
Well, they say Tobey, but he didn't get him with the body. He was the one that hacked him in the air.
It's Tobey's second foul.
I always love to watch officials when I know I look like Grandpa, so.
Can we flip that camera around on him?
I love I'm not looking forward to St. Henry if we get our Marty, our wireless system going. But I always love to watch officials when, as Rosenbeck got 1 of 2 to make it a 14-12 ball game. But I love to watch officials after they make a call, especially on a shooting foul. Minnick with that jumper at the lane gets it to drop, and it's back to a 4-point ball game at 16-12. Whether they go over, when it's obvious it was a hack, and they call a block. Or the other way around. Ruschi, as Borchers throws it up, cannot get it to drop, and we have a jump ball. Sean Imwali brought it down, and I pointed this out during, I think, a junior varsity game that I taped just for people to purchase. But one thing I've noticed, and it's gotten worse over the past several years, is when a player goes up for a rebound and they come down with it, they bring it in and tuck it.
Yep.
You're opening yourself up. You're opening yourself up for a jump ball, which is just exactly what happened.
Yep. Always taught to keep the ball high.
Or pop the elbows out. That was a basket. Didn't see who got it.
Scott Brackman once again.
And the lead is 6, 18-12.
Brackman got his defender up in the air and was able to put it up.
Borchers for 3. And frankly, he could have gotten...
And 1.
Exactly. That is deflected. Borchers comes up with the steal. He is going to take it in for the lay-in. And just like that, it's a 1-point ball game, 18-17.
Mike Ernst with a good 30-second timeout. Really needs this. This game has started to switch back to Ruschi's side now. As you said, 18-17 in favor of New Bremen. But you can definitely tell where the momentum is right now. New Bremen starting to get a little careless. 3 turnovers here in this quarter and 4 in the first quarter. Ruschi only 1 turnover here in this quarter. First quarter, 11.
Well, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back here at Ruschi with 3:39 remaining in just a moment.
Helping bring you this event, the Made Right Sandwich Shop, located on North Broadway in Greenville by the Ansonia Lumber Company on Main Street in Ansonia, Gilbert Feller's Funeral Home located in Brookville, Greenville National Bank with several locations in Darke County, by Cox Insurance located in Ansonia and Greenville, by Homestretch Sportswear located in St. Henry and Wapakoneta, and by M. Bixler Video Productions. Helping bring you this event, by Oliver Floyd Funeral Home in Greenville, Montage Cafe on Broadway in Greenville, by McCain Painting Incorporated, located in Greenville, by Osgood State Bank, located in Osgood, Family Health Services in Greenville, Arcanum, Versailles, and New Madison, by State Farm Insurance, your agent, Jim Gable, and by M. Bixler Video Productions.
Welcome back here to Ruschi, as that three-pointer does not go by Scott. Check that. Yes, it was Scott Schmeezing. And it's going to be over and back as New Bremen turns it over once again. Well, now it's the Cardinals that are having their troubles of holding on to the ball. Ruschi doing a little better. Of course, you can't do much worse than 11 1/4.
No, and New Bremen has matched their first quarter totals with 4.
Borchers being hounded by Troy Lammers, and Lammers is guilty of the foul.
Well, Borchers, ever since coming out on the floor, the intensity has really seemed to pick up. And they know he's really a go-to player for the Raiders. We've seen him drain the three-pointer from the right side just a little bit ago. He's definitely a leader on this team, pardon me.
First free throw does not go, and we've got a lane violation, and it's going to be Borchers getting another chance. If I were a betting man, I would say Borchers will get this one.
I don't know. His first 3 haven't looked the prettiest, to be honest.
I will say that.
I was going to make it nice and just say it didn't look good, but
if you would say a brick, yes.
He might start a new house here in Russia.
Now that one looks a lot better.
Plenty of height on that one. Really used his legs to get that one up.
Let's see if he can do it again. He does. Gets both of them.
Made it look real easy.
And it's a 19-18 ball game, and that's all because of a lane violation that gave him a second chance.
Nice job there.
Schmiesing with the offensive rebound. Underneath as that basket does not go. Another offensive rebound as Sean Imwali got 2 offensive rebounds and couldn't get either putbacks to go. And then Schnelly is guilty of a foul. His first. The team's 8th. I'm taking these glasses in so I can get bifocals. I learned my lesson. I got regular glasses, and this is the first set of reading glasses that I've had where the prescription has been big or strong enough that when I wear them, I can't wear them and watch things because everything's blurred. First free throw is good by Rosenbeck, so I'm taking them back in, and they're going to give me bifocals. Both of the free throws are good. Rosenbeck is 3 for 4. As the Cardinals finally get it in, and an offensive foul against Schmiesing. And anytime you drop that elbow or drop that shoulder and it looks like you push, you're going to get an offensive foul.
What the Cardinal fans, I think, are upset a little bit is Jay Borchers had pretty much tackled or taken down Sean Imwali, and he was down as the inbounder went to throw the ball in. And then they get that call when he drops the elbows. A little upset, I think, because Borchers had taken out their own player. And then they come down and get a charge. Another turnover, the 5th for the Cardinals.
Borchers with the lay-in. Borchers already with 11 here in the first half. And an offensive foul is called against Scott Brackman. Brackman just was about a step too deep.
Borchers 11 matches his season high. He had 11 last night.
And that is foul number 10. So with 2:40 remaining, Russia will be in the double bonus from here on out. Borchers again left it short. Put off with the putback. He couldn't get it. I don't know if you want to call that a rebound or not. Well. He grabbed it and tried to throw it up. Does not go as Brackman couldn't get it. The putback is good. I believe that was Austin Minnick with the basket. And it's a 3-point ball game at 23-20. 2 minutes remain as Putoff tries to lay it in, but it is blocked.
Chris Schnelly come in there with the left hand and just pretty much pushed that back out. Schnelly, 6'7" senior, and he definitely shows it down there.
Chad Gariety in the ball game. He's with it now is Rosenbeck. He's double teamed. Underneath all alone is Chad Gariety just in the ball game. Or is it Gariety or Garrity?
Garrity.
Thank you. After I said that, I looked down again and I was like, wait a second. Well, on the other hand, Marcus Overman, I almost said Howie Overman. But Howie's his dad.
Well, back on the other end, Schnelly had reached or moved over to guard another Russia defender, and that left Garrity wide open right underneath the basket. Actually, he looked up and saw the bottom and had to take a good power dribble back to be able to get the shot to go in.
Okay, I've made up my foul on Russia. That was the 5th team foul, by the way, as Overman couldn't get it. But the rebound, and then he couldn't control it, Chris Schnelly.
New Bremen with 6 offensive rebounds here in this second quarter. Didn't have any of the first quarter.
Well, whatever Mike Ernst said at that quarter break certainly lit a fire under his team, at least on the rebounding end.
2 more turnovers than the first quarter. They've got 6 this quarter.
Rosenbeck throws it up, couldn't get it to go as Plyman with the putback. It is tipped, and it is New Bremen that comes away with it. It's almost as fun to watch the coaches on the bench as it is the ball game.
Very true. Both of them are up and on their feet.
Well, Eilerman couldn't get it to drop. Plyman with the rebound, and it's off of Rosenbeck. Another turnover by the Raiders, but they have really cut down on their turnovers here in the second quarter.
Only 2.
Only 2, so 13 for the night.
Ruschi with 4 offensive rebounds here in this quarter. Gives him 8 in the first half. Bremen, as we just mentioned, 5 in the game, all in this quarter.
25-22. Ruschi with a 3-point lead over the New Bremen Cardinals. New Bremen with it as Overman dishes it back out. Brackman driving the lane. Minnick goes up with it. The runner does not go. Another offensive rebound. Does not go, and this time the Raiders come away with it. Under 40 seconds. A 3-point lead for the Raiders.
Gonna look for Ruschi to take the last shot.
25-22. Mark Bixler along with Scott Ward. And the Raiders in that North Carolina four-corner.
Well, pulls New Bremen out. Makes Ruschi really go after it.
Well, they go man-to-man. 9 seconds. Let's see if they get a good look, and they do. Borchers.
Nice backdoor cut by Jay.
And the shot at the buzzer is short. Well, New Bremen led by 3 at the end of one quarter. They trail by 5 at the half. It's New Bremen trailing Ruschi 27-22.
Helping bring you this event, the Maid-Rite Sandwich Shop, located on North Broadway in Greenville by the Ansonia Lumber Company on Main Street in Ansonia, Gilbert Feller's Funeral Home located in Brookville, Greenville National Bank with several locations in Darke County, by Cox Insurance located in Ansonia and Greenville, by Homestretch Sportswear located in St. Henry and Wapakoneta, and by M. Bixler Video Productions. Helping bring you this event, by Oliver Floyd Funeral Home in Greenville, Montage Cafe on Broadway in Greenville, by McCain Painting Incorporated located in Greenville, by Osgood State Bank located in Osgood, Family Health Services in Greenville, Arcanum, Versailles, and New Madison, by State Farm Insurance, your agent Jim Gable, and by M. Bixler Video Productions.
Welcome back to Ruschi, a 27-22 lead for the Raiders over the New Bremen Cardinals, and we'll get to comments about the first half, but some interesting ball games last night, Scott, as the opening night of high school boys basketball. Of course, Raider fans got to see the Botkins Trojans in the opening game of the SCAL, Shelby County Athletic League, 59-44 win for the Raiders over Botkins. And from reading the story, it's kind of a slow start for the Raiders, but able to put away the Trojans in the end.
Yeah, only 8-6 after the first quarter, but at halftime it was 26-20 in favor of the Ruschi Raiders. So they definitely turned it on. Paul Bringham's boys turned it on a little bit, and so did the Botkins Trojans. And of course, you don't expect an 8-6 quarter from any Shelby County League, especially boys team. It's just rare to see in a boys game.
Well, some of the other scores in the area, including cross-county conference, Greater Western Ohio Conference games, and Western Buckeye League games as well as some others. We'll do some Shelby County Athletic League games as well. Ansonia over Tri-County North 54-28. It was Arcanum over Tri-Village 59-58 last night. Sydney over Bellefontaine 56-44. Ottawa Glandorf over Bryan 56-33. Covington over Bradford 67-32. Miami East knocked off Dayton Christian 73-29. It was Fairmont 54, Greenville 52. And what appears to be although Fairmont struggled last year, it appears Greenville may be a little bit better this year than a year ago.
Yeah, Greenville's, a little bit better. They've got a year under, their belts. And, like you said, they struggled last year. But, as you play as a team, you get better. You get to know your system a little bit better. The coach knows you as a team, each individual boy. So as the year goes on, they struggled, but you got all off season to work on it. And now they got a brand new season to start what they want to do and get their motion or get their offense going.
Well, some of the other scores, it was Newton over Franklin Monroe 36-33. Anna in a Shelby County Athletic League game over Houston 68-50. Fairlawn, another one of those teams that was considered to be one of the upper echelon teams of the SCAL, knocked off Jackson Center 60-51. And what would have to be a little bit of a surprise, Fort Laramie knocked off Jefferson. Not a surprise that they won, but the fact that it was only a 2-point ball game, 46-44 the final score in that one.
It was a 1-point game actually until the Goldschmidt kid, Mitchell Goldschmidt, hit a 3-pointer at the game to actually, Laramie was down by a point, and I forget how many seconds were left, just a few seconds, and Goldschmidt hit a 3-pointer under 5 seconds remaining. He hit the game-winning shot to actually give them the win over Dayton Jefferson, or Dayton Christian, wasn't it?
Dayton Jefferson,
okay.
Or Jefferson Township Jefferson.
Okay.
But other scores from last night, National Trail over Mississinewa Valley 65-49 in the CCC. It was Salina over Piqua 43-23 in a battle of WBL and GWAC schools. As we said, Russia knocked off Botkins 59-44. Northmont over Tippecanoe 55-40. It was Bethel over Twin Valley South 50-40, and a game that was postponed due to the fact that Marion Local made the state championship game in Division 6. They were to play Wapakoneta, but that game has been rescheduled and will now be played December 23rd. Imagine that. Marion Local goes to the state and they reschedule their basketball game.
Between Marion doing it this year, Versailles was supposed to play Bradford.
I'm really saying that sarcastically.
Yeah, really. Versailles now has to go 2 weeks actually from last night's games. And they'll open at Delphus Jefferson, so they won't have an easy one. But that's a good thing. I'd rather open late than, you win a state champion, or at least get that far.
Yeah,
I'll take opening the season late and reschedule them.
Well, we're just about ready to start the second half. Let's take a break. We'll be back in just a moment.
Helping bring you this event, the Made Right Sandwich Shop, located on North Broadway in Greenville by the Ansonia Lumber Company on Main Street in Ansonia, Gilbert Feller's Funeral Home located in Brookville, Greenville National Bank with several locations in Darke County, by Cox Insurance located in Ansonia and Greenville, by Homestretch Sportswear located in St. Henry and Wapakoneta, and by M. Bixler Video Productions. Helping bring you this event, by Oliver Floyd Funeral Home in Greenville, Montage Cafe on Broadway in Greenville, by McCain Painting Incorporated, located in Greenville, by Osgood State Bank, located in Osgood, Family Health Services in Greenville, Arcanum, Versailles, and New Madison, by State Farm Insurance, your agent, Jim Gable, and by M. Bixler Video Productions.
Back here at Russia, a 27-22 lead for the Raiders, and they have possession as we start this second half off, as with it is Jay Borchers. And who got that basket? I was looking down and looked
Foster.
up.
Colin Foster. Borchers to Foster.
That gives him 4 points, and the lead is 7. And Russia grabbing a defensive rebound as they are off to the races. Borchers from the baseline, good. And boy, whatever Paul Brummagem said has really sunk in. The lead is 9, 31-22, Russia over New Bremen. And a turnover, well, they say the first 3 minutes is critical. Foster got it, or Grogin rather. And that 6-0 run to start this third quarter has forced Mike Ernst to take a timeout.
Well, he needs to. Only 48 seconds. You give up 6 points. You need to call a timeout and get something back into your team. I'm going to go over some quick first half stats for both teams. Offensive rebounds for the Raiders. They out-rebounded the Cardinals 8-7. All 7 rebounds for the Cardinals were in the second quarter. Defensively on the rebounds, Russia had 10 in the first half. New Bremen had 8. Turnover-wise, total of 13 for Russia. New Bremen ended up getting a total of 11, 7 of those in the second quarter.
We'll take a look at the scoring here momentarily. Let's first off take a look at New Bremen. Very balanced scoring. Austin Minnick with 2. Scott Brackman with 2. Jeff Tobey led the way with 6, as that shot does not go by Tobey. And the rebound to Russia. Sean Imwale finished with 4 in the first half. Kurt Eilerman, Chris Schnelly, and Marcus Overman finished with 2.
Fouls on Tobey for the Cardinals.
And that is number 3. For the Raiders, Colin Foster with 2, Chad Garrity with 2, Lee Rosenbeck 3, Joel Putoff with 7, and leading the way for the Raiders, Jay Borchers had 13 first half points.
Off the bench.
Borchers from the wing, skips across, doesn't go. Foster grabs the rebound, back out to Borchers. Borchers looks, scoops it up, and gets the basket. 35-22, a 13-point lead for the Raiders. In the middle, put off, in and out. It rolls off, and the rebound too. Actually, it was Tobey Putoff grabbing the rebound for the Raiders. The runner in the lane, Colin Foster, and it's a 10-0 run to start this third quarter. Three-pointer, it is good. It is after the shot.
The shot will count. The ball was well in the air.
As that was Scott Schmeezing with that three-pointer, and that ended that 10-0 run, but guilty of the foul.
Jeff Tobey, number 4, wasn't it? And that is 4th, is that only his 3rd?
I believe, well, if it was Tobey, that's 4.
I thought you had him as 4. That's who they called it on. Now they're going to call him back over. But pretty sure they called it on Tobey. And he's picked up his 3rd and 4th here, then, if that's correct, here in the second half, correct?
Exactly. 2 quick ones.
Yeah, and that's who they are going to call it on.
And that is number 4, and that is critical.
Well, he'll have to sit till the 4th quarter. Well, I guess he wouldn't have to, but...
Now, it depends on the flow of the ball game. If it really gets out of hand quickly, as Borchers couldn't get it, Kleiman, the offensive rebound, doesn't go. The long rebound is 2 put off and a whistle, and we have a player down. I believe
Brackman.
It is Brackman.
Holding his right eye. Brackman's a 5'7" sophomore that, like I said, has really impressed me tonight and has really been all over the floor. Not sure how many points he has.
I only have him with 2.
Okay, but he's been all over the floor, sitting here watching him. He's done a good job on the point and running the Bremen offense.
Both players will come over to the sideline. They cannot come off the court, but and Brackman is starting to get up. As he is holding that his right eye.
Probably got a good poke in the eye.
5:35 remains. The lead is 12 for the Raiders over the New Bremen Cardinals. It's a 37-25 ball game. As the Raiders bring it in play with that 12-point lead. Put off. From downtown, what's the town? From downtown Houston, we'll call it. That's a long way away.
Yeah.
Well, in the middle, and I believe it's going to be put off that's guilty of the foul.
Just to let you know, we're sitting on New Bremen's side for all that cheering that just went on.
It'll be a common foul. Overman will trigger it in for the Cardinals. A long inbounds pass. Minnick, and he is fouled, and I believe it's going to be Foster that picks it up.
Foster or Grosjean?
Nope, Grosjean is guilty of the foul. Each team with 2 team fouls as we are at the 5:11 mark here in this third quarter of play. A 37-25 lead for the Raiders of Verushi. This is a team that got to the districts last season, falling to Franklin Monroe. And a whistle, and what do we have?
Paul Birmingham didn't like that call. Jay Borcher's not really sure what he did. He's going to go check with the ref, wants to know what he did.
And that is his first, the team's third. Well, one thing is definite. They are calling a much tighter ball game here in this third quarter. Kleiman with the rebound, and Minnick is guilty of the foul, his first.
The Raiders definitely hitting the boards here in the second half. Already a total of 5 boards. One of those offensive.
37-25. I think what the officials are trying to do is they're trying to keep control of this ball game so it doesn't get out of hand. No, off the miss doesn't go. Foster tried the reverse, goes up with it, and he is fouled by Imwale. His first, team's fourth. Foster or Grosjean? Grosjean. He'll go to the charity stripe to get 2. First is good. 38-25, a 13-point lead for the Verushi Raiders. We're certainly glad to be with you here for this MAC Shelby County Athletic League conference game, Midwest Athletic Conference, between the Raiders and the Cardinals. And we're glad to have you here on Adelphia Cable in the Coldwater area, the Minster area, and the Versailles area. Mark Bixler, Scott Ward on camera, Heidi Perrin. And another turnover as Borchers comes up with it. And he is fouled by Brackman, who's back in the ball game.
It's interesting. You take a look at both teams, and they're kind of really opposites. Verushi Raiders, 6 seniors, one of them being Cody Francis, who's out with the ACL, 3 juniors and 3 sophomores. The New Bremen Cardinals, 3 seniors, 8 juniors, and 2 sophomores.
Rosenbeck being guarded by Imwale. That's Foster with it now as Grosjean. Nice cut underneath Rosenbeck as he'll dish it back out. Grosjean for 2. Oh, we failed to mention in the first half a great preliminary contest as a hold inside. Imwale took that pass, and a foul against Rosenbeck, his third, the team's. Well, I have it as 4. Maybe is that the 5th or 4th? Usually they get it that changed pretty quick. So it must be the 4th, and a foul, and it looks like it's going to be on New Bremen.
Holding foul they're going to call underneath. Third turnover for the Cardinals here in the third quarter. Ruschi with no turnovers as of right now here in the second half.
That is Brackman's third. But as we said, a great JV game here tonight, 47-45, as traveling is called against Ruschi.
I think I just jinxed him.
The Raiders with the 2-point win over New Bremen. Brackman gives it off to Minnick. Imwally at the top of the key. Brackman with it now, being guarded by Foster. Goes baseline, beats Brackman, or beats Foster, but didn't get it to go. But the putback is good, and I missed who scored that.
I think it was Eilerman. Kurt Eilerman, number 40.
And the turnover, or a timeout. Looks like a timeout. The Raiders taking it, a 30-second timeout. We'll take one as well. 3:24 remaining. It's Ruschi 41, New Bremen 27.
Helping bring you this event, the Made Right Sandwich Shop, located on North Broadway in Greenville by the Ansonia Lumber Company on Main Street in Ansonia, Gilbert Feller's Funeral Home located in Brookville, Greenville National Bank with several locations in Darke County, by Cox Insurance, located in Ansonia and Greenville, by Homestretch Sportswear, located in St. Henry and Wapakoneta, and by M. Bixler Video Productions. Helping bring you this event, by Oliver Floyd Funeral Home in Greenville, Montage Cafe on Broadway in Greenville, by McCain Painting Incorporated, located in Greenville, by Osgood State Bank, located in Osgood, Family Health Services in Greenville, Arcanum, Versailles, and New Madison, by State Farm Insurance, your agent Jim Gable, and by M. Bixler Video Productions.
Back here at Ruschi, as a nice pass from Borchers to Plyman, couldn't get it to go, and Plyman got the offensive rebound, and Eilerman guilty of the foul. His first, the team's seventh. So Ruschi will be at least getting 1 and 1 for the next 11 and a half, almost 11 and a half minutes.
They will be shooting free throws the rest of the game. Every time a foul is committed.
Plyman couldn't get that free throw to drop. He will get the second as he was in the act of shooting. New Bremen, this is their first game as Plyman gets the second free throw. Plyman with 11 points last night. That is his first one of the night. We approach the 3-minute mark. Brackman lost it, but he saves it back in as he got it to Schmiesing. Brackman drives into the lane, gets it back out to Minnick. Minnick, they leave him open just inside the arc, doesn't go. Schmiesing tries to save it back in, but right to the Raiders as Borchers gets an uncontested layup at the other end. 44-27. Off of Schmiesing's miss, Ruschi with the rebound as getting it into the front court is Colin Foster. Borchers. Rosenbeck to Borchers. As we are now at the 2:15 as we're going to have a jump ball. And on the alternating possessions, it'll be New Bremen basketball. .212 remains, a 17-point lead as Ruschi more or less blew this one open in the opening moments of the third quarter with a 10-0 run.
Well, the tally marks here on my paperwork is definitely favoring Ruschi for the boards. Hardly it. They got 2 turnovers. Bremen's got 4. 1 rebound here in the third quarter for the Cardinals.
Schmiesing for 3 did not go. The rebound is to Borchers. Borchers tries to dish it off as he had Garrity underneath, and there was another player, but I didn't catch his numbers. Minnick for 3. And the lead is back to a 14-point ball game as we're down to a minute 35 remaining, 44-30. From the baseline does not go, as that is number 42, Luke Cordonier. Quickly the other way. Eilerman cannot get it to go. And we're going to go the other way as Schmiesing came crashing in. And that is number 3. That's the one thing about an inexperienced team is finishing.
Yeah, they've missed a lot of shots. They haven't finished. Look at the defensive rebounds, which is part of your finishing there. Russi's got 8 defensive rebounds here in this quarter compared to New Bremen's 1. Russia being able to finish the shots, New Bremen not being able to. And you look, just, you take 5, 6, 7 games down the road, this team's already going to grow together and going to be a much better team. And you watch out in the MAC because they're going to be one of those teams that if you have to go into New Bremen's gym, you better watch out because they could be that surprise team 5, 6, 7 games down the line because they're going to have that experience in their first game here tonight together in the actual game experience.
Well, and one thing that really hurts New Bremen is, well, that should have been a travel. And it'll be Russia basketball. Paul Bremingen was up, and if he would have stayed down, he was fine, but he got up.
Well, he got pushed in from behind, too, and we could see that from up here. And I think maybe, it's not right, but I think maybe that's why the referees kind of let that one go. They seen him get pushed up underneath. You got to call one or the other.
We either got to call the foul or traveling, but
he's hurt down there.
And I tell you what, Putoff went in, and he went into those mats extremely hard.
Brackman, isn't it?
I believe it's Brackman. You are exactly right, and he is holding that elbow with 56.3 seconds remaining.
As soon as he hit, you could hear it was a hard hit. As soon as he hit, he grabbed that elbow right away. Not sure if it hit the floor, if his body
I'm not sure.
hit underneath that mat. And that's what I was talking with someone earlier is those mats don't go all the way to the floor. That's just something interesting because there's a hard piece of metal under there. And if if you hit the floor and you slide or your ankle hits that, you can really put some damage. Or at least with a mat, I think it would cushion it a little more.
Well, with 56.3 seconds, we're going to take a break. 47-30 Russia with the 17-point lead over the New Bremen Cardinals. We'll be back in just a moment.
Helping bring you this event, the Made Right Sandwich Shop, located on North Broadway in Greenville by the Ansonia Lumber Company on Main Street in Ansonia, Gilbert Feller's Funeral Home located in Brookville, Greenville National Bank with several locations in Darke County, by Cox Insurance, located in Ansonia and Greenville, by Homestretch Sportswear, located in St. Henry and Wapakoneta, and by M. Bixler Video Productions. Helping bring you this event, by Oliver Floyd Funeral Home in Greenville, Montage Cafe on Broadway in Greenville, by McCain Painting Incorporated, located in Greenville, by Osgood State Bank, located in Osgood, Family Health Services in Greenville, Arcanum, Versailles, and New Madison, by State Farm Insurance, your agent Jim Gable, and by M. Bixler Video Productions.
We're back here at Russia, a 47-30 lead for the Russia Raiders as Scott Brackman is going to be transported probably to, my guess, Wayne Hospital. in Greenville.
Probably.
Maybe
I guess actually
Sydney.
Wilson probably. Being from Bremen, you'll probably want to go a little north.
Or
It could
Joint
take you to
Township
Coldwater.
and Coldwater or St. Mary's.
Yeah. Parents' choice usually.
What a night for Scott Brackman.
Poor guy. He played his heart out really all 3 quarters.
I have him with only 2 points, but here in the third quarter especially,
got the
he
right
comes
eye
out
poked.
and he gets his right eye poked exactly. And then comes back in, and about a minute or so after he comes back in, he goes up for a block and goes crashing into the wall, the floor, and then the wall, I think. And I can't say specifically, but it looks like an elbow injury, and a very severe elbow injury at that.
Yeah, what a way to start out your sophomore year. Kid, did he start? Yes, he did. A 5'7" sophomore, probably his first start of the year. Excited, and now he doesn't even play a full 3 quarters and gets a well-deserved hand by the both crowds here. But it's going to be a tough night for him. Just first of all, and tomorrow morning won't be fun for him either.
No.
But we definitely. At least we're thinking of him and hope everything. We'd like to see him back out here.
Our thoughts and prayers, exactly.
Yeah,
and,
we'd like to see him back here. Hopefully it's not as bad as it looked.
Well, they're bringing the balls out, and just as I suspected, we were talking during the timeout, the little break, that they would allow the teams to warm up and do some layups, and that's exactly what is taking place when you have, basically when they're off the court for over 10 minutes, you almost have to let them warm up.
Yeah, you don't want any kids getting injured, pulling muscles or anything. So
Exactly.
it's best to get those legs loosened up and at least get them moving.
And even the cheerleaders are stretching to get warmed up to do the cheers again.
Looks like about 3 minutes as they put the time on
Exactly.
the clock.
I forget what the time was.
I think it was about
59.3.
56, yeah, 59, somewhere like here.
It was less than a minute.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that they wrote it down before they.
Well, sometimes with those clocks, I think you can set it 2 different ways. It's been a while since I've ran
It's
one of the
possible.
clocks.
These new scoreboards, you almost have to go to college to get an education to run the new scoreboards.
Definitely have to have a training course on them for sure. Welcome to technology in the world.
47-30 lead, as we said. Russia trying to make this a double victor night as they won the JV game 47-45, the final score over the Cardinals. New Bremen, this their first game of the year. Russia at 1-0, and we really didn't allude to this in pregame or during the broadcast or at halftime. What a difference it is for Russia being their second game compared to New Bremen's first.
Oh yeah, I definitely think you can tell the difference out here. Your first game, you're a little rusty still. Yeah, you've practiced together. Yeah, you've went against your reserves, but that's not the same. You haven't gone full bore out there, had the referees out there calling your fouls. What you've done in practice is, okay, this is what their team runs. Hey, let's run this against them. This is live action. Nothing gets better than that. This is good for New Bremen. Yeah, they've only scored 30 points, and they're trailing by 17 at the moment, but this is good. It's tough to come out versus Russia, who's already got the 1 game underneath their belt.
Exactly. Well, a 17-point difference is kind of, I'm trying to think of the word. It's not exactly what you might see if these two teams played later on in the year.
Exactly. It's hard to say. Both teams could be, like as we said, 8 juniors for New Bremen, 3 seniors and 2 sophomores on their roster. Hey, you get those top 11
them some
upperclassmen experience of playing together, hey, they might come out and beat this Russia team. But on the other end, the 5 seniors that are playing for Russia along with the 3 juniors might start to come together and say, hey, this is what we're going to do. They start coming together, and they might play better.
Joel Putoff is at the charity stripe. He will get a cup or a... Did he score?
I think he was in the act of shooting.
He was in the act of shooting. I think you're right. But the biggest difference, getting back to that previous point, the biggest difference is the fact that he apparently scored.
Yeah, they're saying he's got 1 shot. The only way you get that is if you scored.
Well, I don't remember if I marked it down or not. I don't think I did because I hesitated because of the injury to Brackman. He doesn't get the free throw to go. But the biggest difference is between Game 1 and Game 2. That's where you make your most improvement.
Exactly.
And this score may not be indicative. That was the word I was looking for. New Bremen with the miss. Borchers working it across into the front court as we are down to 30 seconds.
You'll see the final shot once again taken by Russia.
Grogin brings it back out, and a nice job of saving that was Rosenbeck. Borchers looks to drive. Nice pass over to Putoff. And the lead is 19 as time is running out. Minnick gives the ball up. That is Webster. Minnick fires, does not go. Loose ball, and that ends the third quarter. After 3 quarters of play, it is Russia 49, New Bremen 30.
Helping bring you this event, the Maid-Rite Sandwich Shop, located on North Broadway in Greenville by the Ansonia Lumber Company on Main Street in Ansonia, Gilbert Feller's Funeral Home located in Brookville, Greenville National Bank with several locations in Darke County, by Cox Insurance located in Ansonia and Greenville, by Homestretch Sportswear located in St. Henry and Wapakoneta, and by M. Bixler Video Productions. Helping bring you this event, by Oliver Floyd Funeral Home in Greenville, Montage Cafe on Broadway in Greenville, by McCain Painting Incorporated located in Greenville, by Osgood State Bank located in Osgood, Family Health Services in Greenville, Arcanum, Versailles, and New Madison, by State Farm Insurance, your agent Jim Gable, and by M. Bixler Video Productions.
Back here at Russia as play resumes. The Raiders leading this over the New Bremen Cardinals. Game 2 for the Raiders, their home opener. They were at Botkins last night. And a 59-44 victor over the Trojans. This is New Bremen's first game. Minnick gives the ball out to number 30. That was Toby. The baseline jumper by Chris Schnelly does not go. And the Raiders with it. Borchers to Rosenbeck. Underneath. Putoff with the basket, as he is in double digits as well with 14 points. Outside. That is Lammers. Gives the ball up. That's Webster. Dishes it off, and a whistle. We're going to have a reach-in foul from behind. And it goes on Putoff, and that is number 4. 7 minutes remaining here in this final quarter of play, a 51-30 lead. And remember, New Bremen led this after 1 at 12-9. Baseline jumper, Toby in and out. Minnick the rebound and put back.
Only the second offensive rebound for the Cardinals in this half.
51-32. And with the steal, Troy Lammers, he's going to lay it in for 2. 51-34, a 17-point ball game. Foster Gives the ball up. Grosjean. Some trouble. Out top, Plyman. And a reach in, actually away from the ball. It's going to go on Borchers. His second. The team's sixth. As the turnover giving it back to the New Bremen Cardinals.
After 11 first quarter turnovers for the Raiders, they've only committed 6 cents, which has really got them to this big lead.
That shot does not go as the Raiders quickly race into the front court as Foster gives the ball to Borchers. Lyman in the corner. Out top, Borchers again, right side. Foster. Pushes it off. That's Grosjean. Looks to drive into the lane. Back out to Foster. He fires it for three and gets it to drop.
Colin Foster sitting there on the left wing, had his feet set. Got the nice little dish from Grosjean and was able to bury the triple.
54-34, back to a 20-point ball game. Minnick pumps it up for three, too strong, and the rebound is to Lammers. Lammers tries to dish it off to Schnelly, and he's out of bounds. One thing I've noticed in this game is Schnelly needs to play big.
Yeah, as a 6'7" senior, really, if he thinks if he can get down in there and fight.
Well, it's off of Ruschi. It's going to be New Bremen basketball.
If Schnelly can get down there and really fight and use his height, he's not very big in weight. Not sure
he needs
really
to put on some weight.
Yeah.
But he's a senior. This young man, if he put on some weight, I'm not saying he could play Division I basketball, but he could play some Division III basketball.
There was a Cardinal player from basketball, and I can't think of his name, and he went to Ball State and he played football about 5 or 6 years ago. Eckert. John Eckert. Reminds me of him, except a lot less weight. If he would put some weight on, I think he would look like Eckert, the way Eckert played back then.
Foster was guilty of that foul, his first, the team's seventh. Is at the charity stripe is Troy Lammers. He's in the act of shooting. Missed the first, he'll get the second. It's on the way, and it's off the front of the rim, doesn't go as Plyman grabs the rebound. And one thing, Scott, Ruschi has had a couple other players step forward tonight, in addition to the fact that Plyman has not.
Yeah,
Timeout.
I'm not sure officially, but if I'm just sitting here watching, I'm not sure how he scored what, but sitting here watching it, you've really seen a lot of players extra step up. Borchers at one point, I know he had 11 tonight. You've also seen Grosjean, Foster's really stepped up, Joel Putoff. You just said Plyman hasn't had a bunch. What's Plyman got? One?
He has 1 point.
1 point. But this has really been a team effort tonight. And I think that's what Paul Bremlingen's really looking for, is more of a team effort. There's really no star on this team. Yeah, Jay Borchers is back.
He has 19 unofficially.
Yeah, he's back. He was a big player from last year. But there's really no star, I think, from this team. Last year, I think there was a star. The two stars really complemented each other, I should say, in Gill and Borchers. Now I think, Borchers is the main leader on this team, but he's got a bunch of guys around him to help complement him and to help him through and help the team through the season.
Well, I've got Borchers with 19, Putoff with 14, and Colin Foster with 9. And then Jordan Grosjean with 5. Lyman with 1, and Chad Garrity with 2. And Lee Rosenbeck with 3 free throws. 4:14 remains here in this final quarter of play. A 20-point lead, 54-34. And a turnover as Borchers tries to find a man heading to the basket, and it's the Cardinals that come up with it. Lammers gives the ball off to Toby. Underneath, the basket is good by Austin Minnick. I have Minnick now with 11. 9 of those here in the second half. Schmeezing. The wing jumper is good. And all of a sudden, a 16-point ball game at 54-38. Borchers throws it up, and he is fouled, and I believe Imwali is guilty of that foul.
Taking a look at last night's scoring for Russia, Grosjean had 9. Foster had 9. Borchers had 11. Rosenbeck had 8. Putoff had 6. Cardanier 2. And Plyman 14. So really a balanced scoring last night from the Raiders and their 59-44 win over the Bakich Trojans.
Not quite as balanced this morning, tonight. Borchers gets the first free throw. That gives him 20.
And I think if Coach Bremen gets that all season, I think he'll be very happy, and I think you'll see a lot of W's in that for the Raiders.
Nothing but net on that one.
He's got a lot of
arching shot.
Yeah, really. He's trying to bring rain, I think.
It's cold enough it won't be rain. And we don't want that S word.
Sleet?
No, that 4-letter S word.
Don't want sleet either.
I'd rather see the snow than sleet. 56-38 as we head the other way, as that foul was against Austin Minnick, his second. As Chad Garrity at the line getting 2. First is good. Gives him 3 on the night.
Former Russia player Eric Rosenbeck. He's playing at Capital University now. Playing some basketball. A couple nights ago, he played against Washington and Jefferson, and he finished with 7 points and 6 rebounds. Looking back at some college players from the area.
Well, some MAC players and some SCAL players attending area colleges. Second free throw doesn't go, but Jordan Grosjean grabbed the rebound. He gets it out to Rosenbeck. Rosenbeck gets it to Putoff. Rosenbeck gets it back.
There's your 4-corner. Spread it. If you can get something open in the middle, then go ahead and get your shot. Nice move
and
right there.
That's exactly what they got with Grosjean. He is fouled, though, and Grosjean will go to the charity stripe to get 2. Imwali guilty of that foul, his third.
Some other MAC players. Corey Yank from Marion Local, playing for the Bowling Green men's basketball team. Last week he had 6 points and 7 rebounds against...
And this should be a pretty decent BG basketball team this year. A little young.
They're a little bit young, and they're going to be, like I said, a little bit young. And they lost the other night to Buffalo. But that was against Bradley. Yeah, I know. To
ugly
lose to
loss.
Buffalo is bad, actually.
Actually, I've heard Buffalo may be better than they've been.
And then he had followed that up with 8 points and 9 rebounds against Buffalo. He's the leading rebounder for the Falcons at 7.8.
58-38. I'm sitting here talking. Did Grosjean make both of those free throws? Or he missed both of them? Made one?
Thanks to our camera operator.
Thank you.
Heidi. Stephanie Bikey of Minster. She's playing for Butler University basketball team. Last week she had 9 points, 3 assists, 3 rebounds over Tennessee Chattanooga down in Florida. And then she had 5.7 rebounds and 2 assists against Bradley.
Loose ball as the Raiders come up with it, and Garrity is called for traveling. in a heap of New Bremen and Raider players.
Diana Grillo from Sale. She's playing for Mount St. Joe's women's basketball. She's a sophomore there. She had 8 points and 3 steals against Wilmington and 4 points and 4 rebounds against Kenyon.
Schmeezing. And a whistle, a foul away from the ball.
Double foul.
I believe you're right. And it's a jump ball. Now, I did not catch. The first one went against Justin Brown.
Next one was 52.
And I believe the other one against Chad Garrity, which is his first. Team's 8. Although they only have 7 on the scoreboard.
Chad Garrity and Justin Brown. Yes, you're right.
58-38, a 20-point lead as driving in the lane was Joel Putoff. He does not get it to go, but Justin Brown guilty of his second foul as Joel Putoff will go to the charity stripe to get 2 tosses. Well, Carrie Webker also playing at Edison. She'll be going to, not Webker. Yeah,
Bergman, Carrie Bergman.
Thank you.
Carrie Bergman will be going to Findlay.
And she'll be going to Findlay, exactly. And, of course, Jordan Plyman signed, I believe, it's with Wright State, am I correct?
Correct. Matt Layfeld from Salina, Coldwater.
From Coldwater. He is at BG.
Bowling Green. And a Fort Army graduate, Brad Rethman. He's a senior at University of Findlay. He had 17 points and he's averaging 9 points. He had 7 points or 17 the other night against Salem International. He's averaging 9 points and 7 boards.
Putoff got 1 of 2 to make it a 59-38 ball game as we are down to the minute 35 mark. Putoff chases it down as he'll get it across midcourt. We approach the minute 20 mark, a 59-38 lead. Mark Bixler along with Scott Ward here. Heidi Perrin on camera. Is with it is number 32, Matt Goubeau. And a whistle, and I believe guilty of foul number 3 is Justin Brown. Matt Goubeau will try to get his name in the scorebook. Well, not in the scorebook. It's in the scorebook, but in the
scoring column. The newspaper.
Yes. Actually, in some newspapers, it may be there anyway, because he's been to the charity stripe. Second one is on the way, and he cannot get it to go. The rebound is to number 40, Kurt Eilerman. Is in the ballgame as Brooks Top, a 5'9" junior. Who got that? Number 20, Alan Webster, a 2-pointer to make it a 59-40 ball game, a 19-point lead. Underneath, that was Adam York. The putback could not get it to go. Garrity doesn't get it to go, and the rebound is to Howie Overman. I knew I would do that. Marcus Overman. Marcus's grandmother will get a kick out of that. Grogine dishes it off. That is York. And nope, it's not going to count.
Brooks Top had position underneath on the block and stood his position, didn't care who was coming at him.
7.5 seconds to go. An offensive foul called, and time is going to run out as Top gives it to Overman, does not go. The putback does not go by top. And that is it. The final score here from Russia. New Bremen takes this Shelby County Athletic League Midwest Athletic Conference matchup over the New Bremen Cardinals, 59-40. We'll be back to wrap it up here from Russia in just a moment.
Helping bring you this event, the Made Right Sandwich Shop, located on North Broadway in Greenville, by the Ansonia Lumber Company on Main Street in Ansonia, Gilbert Feller's Funeral Home located in Brookville, Greenville National Bank with several locations in Darke County, by Cox Insurance located in Ansonia and Greenville, by Homestretch Sportswear located in St. Henry and Wapakoneta, and by M. Bixler Video Productions. Helping bring you this event, by Oliver Floyd Funeral Home in Greenville, Montage Cafe on Broadway in Greenville, by McCain Painting Incorporated, located in Greenville, by Osgood State Bank, located in Osgood, Family Health Services in Greenville, Arcanum, Versailles, and New Madison, by State Farm Insurance, your agent, Jim Gable, and by M. Bixler Video Productions.
Back here at Russia, where the Raiders knocked off the New Bremen Cardinals, 59-40 the final score. Let's quickly run through the unofficial scoring. First off, for the visitors from New Bremen, Troy Lammers, 2 points. Austin Minnick with 11 points, leading the way for the Cardinals. Alan Webster with 2, Scott Brackman with 2, Scott Schmeezing with 5, Jeff Toby with 6, Sean Imwally with 4, Kurt Eilerman with 4, Chris Schnelly with 2, and Marcus Overman with 2. For the host Russia Raiders, unofficially Jordan Grosjean with 6, Chad Garrity with 3, Lee Rosenbeck with 3, Brent Plyman with 1, Colin Foster finished with 9, Joel Putoff with 15, and Jay Borchers with a game high, leading the way for the Raiders, and he finished with 21 points. All in all, a good effort by the Russia Raiders for game number 2. I'm sure Paul Brummagem, the coach of the Raiders, would like to see even more improvement, especially in that first quarter.
Oh yeah, I think he's, he'll go back and he'll look at the videotape, and he's got a lot of stats to look at, and in the first quarter, and unofficially 25 turnovers unofficially with me, whether that means a lot, but still, he had the turnovers were up there, were well there, and some he'll go back and look at and say, hey, we've definitely got to cut that down. Cutting it in half would be a big thing. 20 turnovers, you score 59 points. I think you get pretty kind of lucky doing that. And coming out with a win, a 19-point win, I think is even better for his club. So, that's number one priority right there, I think, is when you come back to the drawing board on Monday afternoon after school, you look at that and you say, hey, this is where we have to start right now. Not sure who they have, but either way, that's the number one priority, I think, in their mind, is they've got to stop or cut down the turnovers. They cut it in half. I think it's a big step in the for the future, for the third game next week.
On the other hand, the New Bremen Cardinals, game 1, some good things and a lot of bad things as well that, trying to get corrected. But it is the first game, and you're going to see a marked improvement next time out.
Yeah, exactly. Mike Ernst, he's got a little different advantage or outlook going into game 2 next week. First of all, you've lost your sophomore point guard for
indefinitely.
Indefinitely. And so you got to look, okay, now who's going to run my ball club? Second of all, okay, we lost by 19 points to a good Russia club who has a game under their belt. But we did some positive things. Turnovers, they were up there too. But so were Russia. So you were pushing it back and forth. The boards, I think really New Bremen went to the boards good at certain times. I think that they crash hard. But I think if they can continue to crash hard and go after them, they can finish those shots and add more points on. Maybe they still lose the game, but I don't think you lose it by 19. And so I think if you can, you have your seniors that you do have, what I say, 3 of them I think I counted. You take them, You got 3 seniors. You gather them up and say, okay, this was here's what we did good. Now here's some of the negatives. Let's work on those. It's the first game of the year. You got 19 more. Technically, you got 20 more, including your first tournament game. You got 20 more games to work on that. Against, they played a good Russia game, or a good Russia team. You've got a tough schedule in league against the MAC schools.
Well, one thing, I'm sure Coach Ernst, he would like to see more points out of his big people. In my mind, there's no question about that. Scott Schmiesing, a 6'5 senior, 5 points. Chris Schnelly, a 6'7 senior, 2 points. 7 points out of your 2 big people just isn't going to cut it.
Plus they're seniors.
Exactly.
And that's where two of those 3 seniors right there really got to take leadership and say, okay, we didn't play very well, or we didn't attack very hard, or something wasn't there. The fourth quarter, that's very understanding. You probably got other things on your mind, right? Worrying how your buddy is. But you move on from that. The first 3 quarters is what you got to really work on there. By the fourth quarter, it was kind of almost out of hand at that point. And but like you said, Schnelly and Schmiesing thought they'd play a little bit better. 6'5", 6'7". This team is tall. If this team can get those points and they can crash the boards and
be a little more physical.
Yeah, be a little more physical. I'd watch out for the Bremen Cardinals. They're going to be one of those teams. You go into their gym, like we said, or they come into your gym. They're going to surprise you. They might get you that one night. That might keep you from, that one tournament drawing, getting you a number 1 seed way down the months in February. But hey, that one game where the Cardinals snuck up on you might hurt you.
Well, again, we want to extend our thoughts and our prayers are definitely with Scott Brackman with it appears to be an elbow injury, at least from this standpoint. I can't say positively, but the way it appeared with what took place and how they wrapped it up and so forth appeared to be an elbow injury. But our thoughts and prayers are with him and his family as well. And we certainly hope for a speedy recovery for Scott Brackman after his injury tonight. Again, the final score here from Russia as the Russia Raiders take the New Bremen Cardinals. Russia 59, New Bremen 40. For Scott Ward and Heidi Perrin, I'm Mark Bixler. Until next time, so long, everybody.